Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we got a bit of DoorDash news for you. DoorDash pays $5 million to settle San Francisco worker misclassification probe. Well, let's be very clear before we go. What we're going to do is analyze the articles and all the facts that are presented to us. We got two in total, and I want to go over what they are telling you, how we should interpret it as drivers. And without further ado, let's have a look at what happened in San Francisco. November 22nd, delivery company DoorDash Inc. is paying more than $5.3 million to be exact, in case you didn't know that, to settle an investigation by San Francisco into alleged labor law violations. With the bulk of the money going to delivery workers in the city attorney said on Monday. DoorDash will pay more than $5.3 million under the agreement. San Francisco City Attorney David, I hope I don't mispronounce this, David Chui said in a statement about 5.1 million will go to nearly 4,500 DoorDash workers who have completed deliveries in San Francisco between 2016 and 2020. So, with that said, if you complete deliveries in San Francisco between 2016 and 2020, you might have earned some money. However, before we go too much deeper into this article, there is another article that I found covering the same story, literally the same story, and they have found some alternative view on how that money is actually working. Restaurant was 5.3. According to the settlement, DoorDash drivers will receive most of the money from the settlement, with most getting amounts up to 500 and 1,000, even though awards can go as high as 17,000. Which, okay, why is there such a dip in how much you can actually pay? Is there a tax that I don't know about? Is some of this money going to cover Biden's infrastructure plan? And again, this isn't a political debate. This isn't a conspiracy. What I just would like to have a little bit more transparency on how the money is actually being distributed, because going from, let's say a lot of people got on the high end and they got $1,000 each. Where's the other $16,000 per driver going? San Francisco city government will receive, oh, there's a lot of money, $187,953 to cover its expenses, a fraction of the 25% contingency fees and expenses private attorneys would charge. So, in other words, if you were to get a private attorney that would fight on your behalf on this subject, they would end up, it could cost you 25% contingency. That means in the event that they win the case, they would charge you 25% of the win, in case you didn't know that. But I'm still looking at this. Even if they did 5.3 million, even at 5.1 million, where is the rest of that money going? Like, is it per driver that they're charging you for? Is it something else that we just don't know about? I feel like I need more information. We believe. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to the first article, back to source one. We are living through an era of deep inequality, and nothing could be more important than assuring workers are paid fairly and their benefits are safeguarded, Chui said in a statement. Well, okay. And this is another statement he made. We believe DoorDash couriers or dashers were misclassified and should have been employees for years. That's not part of the settlement, but it is the perspective of the city. So, if you guys don't know much about California and how their laws work in comparison to the rest of the United States, a lot of how they operate is union based. Like it a lot of you it is very much a blue state. Again, this isn't political, but it does hold a significant influence on how dashers are being treated there, how people are viewing dashers in California as opposed to how they're being viewed in the rest of the country. Um, and I'll tell you what, I live in Florida, and sometimes I feel like, all right, some of the things that DoorDash has pulled, they do not get any support from their from anybody in the political side, the government side. It is a right to work state, not a workers' rights state. And sometimes I feel that way. But at the same time, I would rather be an independent contractor and have the flexibility of being able to start, stop, work as much as or as little as I want. If I want to take a week off, I can. If I want to work literally the rest of my life, I can do that. That's my choice, which, in my opinion, is more constitutional than the unconstitutional claim of Prop 22. But who am I to judge? The reason it is like Prop 22 is unconstitutional is because it cannot be enforced. Like, if you can't enforce a law, then therefore it is unconstitutional. And I'm sure I am paraphrasing that, and I am not going deep enough into what Prop 22 is, and I'm sure I probably should, because that could end up being a federal law as opposed to just a California state law. But so far, that is strictly opinion. And this is what DoorDash said to the whole thing. DoorDash did not admit to any wrongdoing as part of the settlement in a statement that it was proud of the flexible earnings opportunity it offered. The opportunity itself to be able to work as much at or as little as you want to in the regards of making money on the platform itself. That is a valuable opportunity. There's a lot of inner workings within that opportunity that is very illegal, immoral, and unethical. That is done by DoorDash. But yeah, the opportunity itself is something that is very valuable, and I will say that, even though they wrongfully deactivated me. This is a statement from DoorDash specifically. While we deny any wrongdoing, we feel that the settlement represents a fair compromise that will allow us to focus on continuing to provide the best debt experience for Dashers. Okay, well, first of all, DoorDash has never cared about the experience as we are, as Dashers such as us. They've only cared about how much money they can steal and make from other people, reducing costs and raising reducing the costs and raising the amount of money you can make, like increasing revenue. And DoorDash, while we deny any wrongdoing, for someone who created an unconstitutional law such as Prop 22, you seem to be utilizing that First Amendment pretty effectively. So good for you. The city has opened a formal investigation into DoorDash in 2019 after media reports said the company was using customer tips to subsidize workers' pay and workers-based pay. They're still doing that. Like, people are having their tips stolen today. And with that being said, they've changed the pay model since then, but they're still stealing tips. And merchants are also into stealing tips as well. They're just not doing it through the same means as DoorDash is. That being said, I think ever since the FTC started investigating them, they've been looking for any way to get the heat off them, you know what I'm saying? The city alleged DoorDash was violating San Francisco's healthcare benefit and sick leave laws by misclassifying workers as independent contractors rather than employees. Healthcare and sick leave. Okay, well, first of all, I do believe that some people value sick leave and healthcare. Well, first of all, speaking as the guy who just literally fell on himself today, like my knees are wrecked, my hand is wrecked. I guess I could see how healthcare benefits would help, and sick leave. I don't know. I don't know if I really need sick leave that bad. But that being said, I am a self-acclaimed workaholic, so that's a totally different conversation. Um, but that being said, if you do like if somebody has a problem with not having sick leave and healthcare, go back to W-2 employment. I mean, you signed up for DoorDash knowingly that you weren't going to get healthcare. It was good. You weren't going to get sick leave. People get part-time jobs just to make extra money. You can do DoorDash and have the even more flexibility and even more money. So I don't see why people why San Francisco had a problem with it. I'm reading this and I'm starting to think this is more of a San Francisco versus DoorDash issue, not San Francisco Dashers versus DoorDash issue. Which would explain where the money of 16,000, 100,000, like 16,000 going. Where's all this money going, guys? Come on. That would explain a lot. The settlement is part of a larger fight between gig companies and lawmakers, which culminated in a California ballot initiative in 2020, during which voters cemented gig workers as status as independent contractors while entitling them to some benefits. Well, here's the thing. I don't think we have that many benefits. If we did have benefits, I've never really had the opportunity to. Sure, there is a accident insurance, but again, it's so hard to actually have access to it, and I've got to make a video about how that actually works. But it's so hard to actually get approved for it. Like, you have to have already picked up the order. Have yet to drop it off, and then fight the literal nightmare that is Dasher support and the piss poor integrity of their organization. It's a nightmare, and they should really feel bad about the crimes they commit on that side. Fights over the status of DoorDash, Uber, and Lyft and other gig companies continue across the United States, Canada, and Europe. Companies say the majority of workers do not want to be employees and enjoy the flexibility offered by on-demand work, like I said. This is my opinion. Support what you pay for it. No one here pays me, so there you go. A lot of Dashers prefer being an independent contractor. This fight that they were having, this legal battle they were having, it wasn't about Dashers. It was about laws. And sure, are there issues that come up where people end up getting hurt or having property stolen and DoorDash doesn't do anything? Yeah, that happens all the time. What, do you think being an employee is going to help you? I'll tell you what, there are times where I have been an employee and I was treated 1,000 times worse as an employee than I would ever being an independent contractor. Nevertheless, this isn't going to influence the legal system of California. California has been and always will be a state where unions kind of run everything. And I do believe this is a forecast of how the independent contractor issue will work in the future. But that being said, the one recommendation I would have is start a side hustle in which you can build up and then proceed to transition away from gig work. Why? California is the 5th largest economy in the world. And what happens in California usually trickles outward. Prop 22, I think Massachusetts, it tried to start it. The only reason other states haven't started it because it was unconstitutional. But if California makes everybody employees, you best know that that's going to happen on a state level too, and then eventually make it a federal law. But that's going to be a transition. It's not going to be an immediate action. So that being said, you're going to want to develop something on the side for yourself. 50% of Uber drivers are entrepreneurs. DoorDashers should be the same way. But if you are looking for W-2 employment where you are getting healthcare and paid sick leave, we are currently in a labor shortage. You have leverage. Go look for something to where you would best find yourself with good pay and have the benefits you want. That's really all I got to say on the subject. I hope that you found some value in this video. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.